Yeah, I had to make sure that I was live. I had to wait till the live goes down. Hey guys, it's Steve from Angelina County. We were recording today on it's 9:24, 6:50 p.m. for those of you who are time stamping. Um, I listened to the commissioners meeting. I had to listen to it twice. We're speaking of Angelina County commissioners meeting today, um, and I had written notes and want to go over them with you. So those of you that weren't there, you can kind of get the gist of the conversation. But also, there's a link below in the description that you can actually watch it yourself and see what actually transpired, who said what, whatever. So anyway, but anyway, I do notes on what I see too for the interest of public interest, and also for the fact is that I got questions, and I don't want to go to the county commissioner's office, go to their meetings, because the fact is I'll end up in freaking jail. You'll be surprised. I get there when I walk in the door, freaking sheriff's goes. He's looking for a reason to get me. So I'm not well liked at the commissioner's office, and hey, I'm a veteran. I got PTSD. I have a sticker on one of my Marine hats that says PTSD, leave me alone. But anyway, here we go. Okay, so the first thing is that Mr. Wright injected that there was a report, and in that was the road report. And surprise, 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 we didn't meet our goals for this year. Now it was we always hear some excuse. So this is the excuse that was used because of the rains. They didn't complete whatever Mr. McMullen's going to work on. Blah, freaking blah, blah. Okay. Let me explain something to you, something that the commissioners don't get. I have friends that are pipe fitters, welders, work in construction, work in roofing, work outside. At every rainy season, okay, they are prepared. Let me give you an example. A lot of my welder buddies, they work all the way up through to the first of winter, because the fact is that it's too cold, and then they put in overtime. They do whatever they have to do to make sure that they go through, they can get through the winter months. And also all these, I speak from as a comment. Everybody knows, you know what, work slow, when work slows down or whatever. So you got to make up the hours or whatever. So at the first of the month, you probably say, you know what, well, man, I can do a little overtime. They go in the kitty for whenever they lay me off or seasonal work, basically, kind of what it is. Anyway, we didn't meet our goal because of the rains or whatever. You know what? I don't want to hear no more excuses. Okay. Judge Wright said back in the past that you have to trust us on the roads. Here is the reason why we can't trust you. Because over and over and over again, there's an excuse of why we couldn't fix our roads. So the next item, I'm not going by the agenda. I'm just going through my notes. Basically, the jail received $10 million. They just gave them $10 million. They didn't specify what it was for. They didn't specify, how the money was to be spent. They just give them $10 million. Now that right there, okay, should be a red flag for everybody, because the fact is, what are they doing with the money? We've already bought a boat, and we've already spent money on things that make us look like we're approved by all these sheriff's organizations and all these police, and we spend money on that, and yet, and I will say this, underneath our current sheriff, per Keith Wright, we got a good sheriff who's going to keep us out of trouble. Okay. Well, explain to me, why are there 2 deaths on his watch in Angelina County Jail? Explain to me what other lawsuits are actually going to be filed, because we know of Hartman, we know of Smallwood, and we know of Stolik. So this is what he's trying to say, and what he basically said was, well, if you knew what I knew, then we need to take these steps for the jail or whatever. Okay, if you knew what I knew. Okay, here's where the problem comes up. We have asked you through Freedom of Information requests for reports from these jail happenings and from the commissioner's court on a report that was issued to them by the sheriff. We also want to know where's the money going exactly. And I'll guarantee you, none of it is going for training. That's training for excessive use of force. It's training for how to properly sign all logbooks. Training for individuals, because laws change every year. This is why the Texas TCO, Texas Commission of Law Enforcement, this is why they demand training and certificates upon these items, because the fact is that to take in cooperation with laws that have changed. What you can do now, what you can't do, or vice versa. I'll state right now that our jail staff are they're not trained, or they're not they don't meet standards, because the fact is, when you ask the sheriff's department, hey, what's your rules on deadly force, applying restraints? Here's what they came back with. Oh, it's on job training. Well, that's not according to what the Texas TCO says. Anyway, TCO actually made a revisement on that on the commission on actually these particular items that are affecting Angelina County Sheriff's Department. And we have, we gave $10 million, and we don't know where it's going for. Hopefully it's not for another boat. I mean, hopefully, but I'm just saying. So there is a mention of jail concerns from our commissioners. We're not entitled to the information. As you know, in Angelina County, they keep things hush hush. And basically, the way I was raised, and this is just me, is that if you know something and you don't tell somebody, if they ask you and you don't tell somebody, that's the same thing as lying. Same thing as lying. You say, well, no, I can't comment on that, or, I'd rather not get involved. No, I don't. Something along that lines. You just don't come out and say, I don't know. I don't have any of that. And then come to find out you do. Well, then there goes legal action, which we go to another issue. They raised the tax rate. Here's what I think. They raised the tax rate. I think it's 0.445. And they do that whenever they raise the taxes. And here's the reason why, because they're only stating what the increase, which is 0.445. Now, this raises our total tax rate to 8.02%. So hear me out. 8.02% is what we will be paying, but it wasn't reflected because of the fact is that 0.445 was the only amount they talked about. Thank you to Mr. Walker, who pointed that out, the 8.02, to give us clarification on what our actual tax rate will be after this add-on. It took the commissioner to actually bring it up. And I believe with Mr. Walker, I believe that was done intentionally to alert the public and to advise them what their current tax rate was. So kudos. I mean, that's what he's there for. He's commissioner, and he caught that. And if you read between the lines, sometimes you can kind of make sense of all this crap. Anyway, so then we got a presentation on our insurance, travelers insurance, or who we had our insurance with, which included property, liability, and professional liability, which includes the sheriff department. And due to travelers denied our request, they did not want to continue a relationship with Angelina County. And if you read into that, is because the fact is that the number of lawsuits that they've had to settle out of court, it's not feasible for travelers to insure us. So our insurance rates are going to go up 40% because of this factor. Now the deductible on that is like $1 million or $2 million. We're going to continue with the $1 million for now, and then our next budget we're going to have to figure out $2 million, $2 million, and with our current status of our conditions in our jail and our conditions of our landfill and our conditions of basically our roads as well, we're mounting up bills that we can't pay. Keith Wright says he wants to look for the future. Great, I do too. But in the future, you can't do shit like you used to do it. It's catching up to us. And the reason why I say that is because the fact is that $2 million is now going to be, well, not now, but it's going to be in effect next year. And what does that mean exactly? It means right now we have it at 1 million. So in other words, if there's a lawsuit that's filed, then the county has to pay they have to pay half of that, which is $500,000. They're responsible for half of that. The insurance picks up the other half. With the new plan, they're going to actually raise it to $2 million. So we're going to be responsible for $1 million for all these lawsuits that are going to hit with these two deaths in the jail. There's other items that are being addressed in the jail or whatever. We still don't have the investigation back from the Stoller case. We still don't, and no news is good news. I really believe that this case is on the skyline because the fact is that we've actually had more than one death in a jail within a year period, and our last death, or I'm sorry, Miss Hartman's death was settled in 2022. Now it took years for us to settle that, but like once again, they only paid $500,000, so we were only hooked for the $500,000. That's quoted by Mr. Wright, who said, "Well, we don't have to pay all of it. We only got to pay half." I don't know, man. Yeah. Start adding up thousands of dollars, and pretty much it equals out the real money, especially for us that are actually making ends meet right now. But we got a new courtroom. I mean, we got a commissioner's courtroom. We got all this, and we're going to be building. We're going to demolish the old jail. There's some confusion upon where the city's property is and what owns TxDOT and what the county uses or whatever. All that blah, 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 because the fact is that Lufkin does not want to get involved, or they do not want to be involved with Angelina County in this perspective. They don't want to be, because the fact is that the way that we're running our county, basically Lufkin doesn't want to go down with Angelina County. We see this across the board with the sheriff's department and the police department. Basically, it's the police department is basically really walking the thin blue line, because they just leave everything up to the county sheriff's department. And like I said, the Texas Ranger report and Smallwood case, it was completed by James Hicks, and he honored the thin blue line, only took a statement of the sheriff. I've said this over and over and over again, but the reason why I say this is because it's so damn wrong to see what's going on. Once you see the paperwork, it just jumps out at you. And I'm an idiot. You can ask anybody. Everybody will tell you in Angelina County, I'm an idiot. But at least I figured it out. So if you saw the paperwork for the Freedom of Information request, then you would be asking questions too. And funny, the Freedom of Information request we put in for the Stoller case has not been answered. And of course, there's no video of all these incidents. It will not be released. That goes into a federal issue, which in federal issues, that's where your price tag goes up, because the fact is that if it is proven, or if it is noted on these videos, there was malfeasance, improper action, improper restraints applied. All these things that will be revealed in those videos. That will be addressed by the civil court. In other words, Angelina County ain't got nothing to do with it. going straight to the feds, which ultimately that's where your case is going to end up, because Angelina County is going to rule in favor of the county, and then you file your federal lawsuit, and then it goes from there. So I can't specify enough is that the commissioner's court actually realized that we have a problem in the jail. And Mr. Wright stated that, we want to provide safety for our citizens of the county. Well, our jail's not doing that. And I'll be honest with you, I've talked to people or whatever, and people walk a fine line every day. You can be arrested for any misdemeanor or whatever, but you have to go to this county jail. Now, keep in mind, all three of these arrests that were happening to these individuals, they were all misdemeanors. And a misdemeanor cost them their life when they went into county jail. Somebody needs to start asking questions. And it hasn't been proposed to the commissioners. And I believe the reason why it hasn't is because the fact is I believe that Angelina County is trying to get over them. What the hell? I mean, okay. A lot of Angelina County residents say, well, okay, one death. Okay, he was a drug addict. He was whatever, But unfortunately, per our Constitution, whether you're having a psychological motive or influenced by drugs, you still have your constitutional rights. But so you have one case, and Angelina County residents say, okay, that's one case. We can, okay, all right, that just happens once in every blue moon. And then you get, within a year, you get another death. Same arrest, same type of arrest, have another arrest. Ms. Hartman's case was actually settled because the fact is that they said, well, this was Sheriff Selman's statement. She died en route to the hospital. No, you idiot. She was in the jail. She was transported to the hospital after multiple requests to see a doctor because she had pneumonia. They were denied. Why? Because the fact is that the guards just determined she was just faking it. I don't know about you, but we can't get training for our guards now to apply force or to apply restraints or keep a logbook or do what they're supposed to do as far as checking on inmates. We can't do that. Now all of a sudden these guards they got a medical degree, deciding who gets to see medical, who doesn't. I'm sorry, but these individuals were innocent until proven guilty, but they weren't treated that way. Accident, like Jeffrey Epstein, how the hell did that happen? And the same questions are, well, they were under surveillance. They were supposed to be looking after them. They were supposed to, and they didn't do it. So good Lord. It's simple. If you do not follow the guidelines set by the state of Texas on how to run a jail, if you don't do that, then you're at fault. Bottom line. So now we have two deaths that go unexplained. We have two videos that will not be released. And the comment from Sheriff Selman was, well, the grand jury didn't indict. Yeah, you're right. 100% right. See, here's the deal. People don't understand. The grand jury never got to see the video. They hid that piece of evidence from the grand jury. I don't know if it was because of the fact of our district attorney or if it was the fact that Sheriff Selman said he will never release that video. This boggles my mind. And if people are asking questions about this, then it's like, okay, man, we are way beyond as a community. We are way beyond acceptance here. And we are way beyond, we are over the line in Texas standard and also government standards and laws that are set in place to protect these things that are happening. And we do not do anything about it. And we don't even ask questions. Keith Rice said, "Stop writing in freedom of information requests." Okay. Well, let me just clue you in on something. If people are not getting the answers that they deserve, or their rights to review those documents, if people are not given the opportunity to review those documents, then the only recourse you have is to put a freedom of information request. So the number of freedom of information requests that goes to the county, let me tell you something. It's because they won't be totally transparent and tell you what's going on. We don't even need any proof. We have on this video that states, well, if you knew what I knew, yeah, I want to know, by God. I want to know. And I asked you for a freedom of information request regarding the subject. And guess what? Well, if you knew what I know, admitting on camera that he doesn't have to release information. I'm sorry. In closing, I'm going to say this right now. We are in charge of our government. They work for us. We deserve answers to questions that affect life, limb, or the pursuit of happiness. We need to have answers how we can prevent this again. And so far, we don't get nothing. And they bitch and complain because we want more information, because you're not giving us information. Point blank. If you knew what I knew about the jail, yeah, I want to know. I'm asking you. So anyway, thought I'd share this video with you. Like I say, I always say like and subscribe, but I understand there's a lot of people who watch my videos and they don't comment, but pretty soon the word gets out on what subjects that I'm talking about, just like this that I noticed here. It sent $10 million to the jail to fix the problem of deaths happening in the jail. They threw money at it instead of actually coming to and actually being able to review and find out how we can make our sheriff's department better. In closing, I'll also say that the commissioners cannot order the sheriff to release information. Can't. But here's where it gets sticky. They control his budget. And if he's not totally transparent about these deaths, that needs to be addressed in his budget for next year. Because the budget needs to state how many hours do you provide training, and why aren't these people certified? Next video, I'll go over the new laws that are being passed regarding this issue. Texas Commission on Law Enforcement they have actually changed their guidelines to include transparency from Sheriff's Department. HB 30 passed, and I don't know where our district attorney or where our county attorney believe that they don't have to release this information. Well, HB 30 passed to avoid this whole situation. And it's called, here in Texas, we call it the dead man's loophole. So in other words, if you die before you go to trial, then they don't have to release information on you. They don't have to release information on how you died. HB 30 changed that. So I will, in talking to the people that I talk with or whatever, I kind of understand where Keith Wright's going with this, because the fact is what he knows that we don't know. And for him to throw $10 million at the sheriff's department, all of a sudden, sounds like bullshit to me. All right, guys, thank you so much. Please like and share. If you don't, that's okay. I've got other platforms that I post on, and so far I've had good response on Twitter. There's a lot of cop watchers. And I've learned a lot from lawyers on Twitter. So here's a scoop. You guys be good. Be careful. Hey, keep your powder dry, and watch the damn sheriff's department. They kind of under a little bit of stress right now. So I may want to take out that stress off on innocent people. Okay, I'm out.